I began working in Rachel's Vineyard Ministry, co-facilitating retreats in 1999. It's taught me so much in working with so many women over the years, probably hundreds at this time, because I've given 2 to 3, as many as 4 retreats a year. It's wonderful to hear what the women say and the men at the end of the retreat, what was helpful, what finally brought them in the door. And many times what brings them in the door is a pamphlet that they received maybe 2 or 3 years earlier, and they kept with them in their car or their glove box or whatever. And that was the thing that they held on to and knew that they could come in eventually and go through a retreat and heal from the experience. I think when you see somebody have an abortion, it's quick to believe they must be heartless people, that they must not really care about a child. But what we see is they're just so traumatized, they can't even think about what they needed to be doing differently. They're not thinking of the child, they're thinking about preserving their own life. So when they're considering coming in to have an abortion, it is good to have compassion for them. The compassion that they're in panic mode and they're not thinking clearly. So that's the part of more training, the better. Trying to figure out the heart of a woman and seeing the trauma in her eyes will give you great compassion to meet her where she's at. After the abortion, we are just as important, if not more important. So many of the women that we've worked with would say they wish so much they would have come to a retreat earlier and began the healing process, that it kept them from loving their children that they do have. It kept them in and out of marriages, that they've experienced years of depression because they didn't have the experience of going through something that would help them heal.
I think also just saying, adding to what you already said, that it's so important that we show that we are there for you no matter what you choose. If you choose abortion, we still love you. We are still, going to be, faithful, vigilant. I've had women that I've counseled who have gone in and had the abortion, and that came out and hugged me afterwards, and we just cried together. Mm-hmm. And so I think that was really powerful, and we need to, to not feel like we've lost hope when somebody comes out after having an abortion, but to really look at them, in the eye and really tell them, we know that you have been through something very difficult. Mm-hmm. Here is a pamphlet that will help you when the time comes, for you to have hope and healing.
Exactly. I think that as pro-lifers, people who want the best for women and for their babies, it's really good to know as women heal from abortion, they seek the healing they need. They're not repeat aborters. Many times we meet women who have had 2, 3, 5, sometimes as many as 10 abortions. The sooner we get them help, the sooner they are able to heal and start their journey back to being able to feel the experience of love in their life, hopefully a newfound relationship with God, whether they were ever a believer or not, and then hopefully bonding with their own family. The beauty of healing from an abortion usually is we get to see the women and the men find relationships that are healthy, or if they're already in a marriage, to see their marriage come to life again. If they go back home, they can't wait to get back home and hug their children because they had no idea that they were withholding love from all of their other children because they couldn't bear thinking that they killed their first sibling. So they hold that grudge in their heart, and somehow it comes on to the other children. So at the end of the retreat, we get to see a newfound faith. They come in so beat down, and at the end of the retreat, they're full and they're alive, and you see it, and they have a new relationship with God and with others around them to continue to help them get support, but also to see them want to go home and be with their family, who they couldn't stand the thought of being with before. So we offer great hope in many of the areas. There are great hope working with individual therapists, working with some areas have 6 and 8 week training classes, 12 classes, where you are trained to help women work through abortion through a workbook study program, and others do a weekend retreat. There are many things to offer that offer help and will help these women learn to love themselves again and come back into a new heart.
I think it's important also to keep in mind that most of the women who are going to be coming out after having an abortion are in a daze and are very numb, and maybe still medicated, or they have really been through a trauma, almost like a rape.
Like a rape.
Like that
Right.
they are in severe trauma, like maybe they, even PTSD, just stepped off, the battlefield and seen all these awful things. So we have to be very concise and clear, and very loving in the way that we talk to them, and know that, they might not have the chance to hear what we're saying fully, but they may remember, our face and our, our consistency of like, I'm not here judging you. I want to help you.
So meeting them after the abortion with great tenderness, tenderness in the way that you look at them, tenderness in the way that you hold your body, and offering them a pamphlet. That may be all that you get to do, but it's a great beginning for them because you are who they will eventually, hopefully, remember and pick up that pamphlet and come back into a healing retreat or an experience.
I think also keeping in mind that, they have just been victimized, and they truly are the victim, in a lot of ways. So keeping that in mind of just having that heart of compassion for them, and being able to, to really be encouraging that you can work through this, that maybe you're not going to realize it right now that, that you might regret this decision, but later on, if you ever feel like you need help, here's, a pamphlet that you can come on this retreat, and we'll be there ready, to greet you without any judgment.
Exactly.